Hi guys, my name is Azim, and this is China's Belt and Road Initiative and its impact on the global economy and developing nations. All right, so my question was, what are the chances of success in the economic impact of the BRI on nations directly involved, and how will it impact the distribution of power in the global economy, considering Chinese goals surrounding the current world order? Okay, so this is important because China can be described as the rising global power. So it is attempting to provide an alternative to US hegemony when it comes to the world order and our global economy. A lot of changes could happen if China achieves that goal, and the BRI is its route in. So there has not been a resolution to the BRI, so all of this research is largely based on speculation and looking for signs of its success, right? What to look out for. The BRI represents a Chinese agenda that would like to reshape our world order again. So this is really how it's connected in larger, I think, in the larger context to globalization, right? So what norms and standards can we expect China to promote if it gains a platform in order to lead a globalized world. All right, so the history and context of the BRI. So this is the first point is really important. China's Belt and Road Initiative seeks to establish in modern times two very large and prosperous historical trade routes, the Silk Road and the Maritime Silk Road. So I will have a picture of that in just a second. The Chinese state is one that feels wounded. So China really feels humiliated through their history of colonialization, Britain, the United States, and they're really trying to regain their platform and position at the top of the world order. Yes, so a lot of people have compared it to America's post-World War II developed the West Initiative, which was created to economically bind countries to U.S. interests. So China is trying to do the same, except for different countries in Southeast Asia and countries in Eastern and Northern and Southern Europe. Yes, we'll keep going. So here we have the trade routes. The maritime Silk Route, which is obviously going to be in the ocean, and then you have the one on land. You can see how big it is, and how really, really ambitious this project is. All right, so first off, there's no concrete answer to the successes, right? But the chances of success, I think, can be found in different signals, right? But through most of the resources that I have looked through, it is predicted to succeed because, I guess, based on what has happened, has been largely successful, right? So the best example I could find is the Greek port of Piraeus, which you can see rose from facilitating 2% to all the way to 13% in just 7 years of a total Mediterranean traffic. That's really big, and it's changing the way Italy is looking at its future trade relations, right? So you can see countries changing their economic strategies in order to accommodate and be successful in a new BRI matrix, right? And then you can see Pakistan, with the Pakistani economy, China actually delivering on its promises, 19 billion US dollars, right? So China is serious about what it's doing. Okay, so this is the big key point, and I'll probably say this again, that whether the countries that China is investing in are politically stable enough to handle those investments and handle the infrastructure in order to use it wisely, I think is going to be the real deciding factor on the BRI. There's other factors, right? So how will BRI affect GDP? Yeah, and through different data analysis projects that I have looked at, countries that are directly involved with it are expected to benefit simply on matters of GDP and infrastructure. All right, so the BRI is gaining respect. This is a big, I think, sign of why we should take it seriously and what its effects could be, right? So Italy is part of the G7, although it was the only country of the G7 to attend the BRI Forum in 2017 held in Beijing. That's a big deal, right? Italy has an enormous economy and holds a lot of sovereign debt. Yeah, so 90% of this gain is expected to be captured by BRI countries. So this is kind of, I think, the reason why you see a lot of these countries and the G7 not going to the forum, right? So this is an ambitious foreign policy for China, and it's really trying to vie for position against the West. So here we have a great picture of all of the people who attended. All right, so the Western perspective and reaction. So one small note is that China claims it has better global leadership because it respects the sovereignty of other countries, right? And if you want to dive deeper into that, you can look at Sudan. But that's not really where my research is located, right? So all G7 leaders are notably absent from the BRI Forum except Italy. So that's a big deal because the United States and other Western countries do not want this, basically. They don't want it to be successful without them. And yeah, China thinks that it can actually provide an alternative plan to the United States and maybe even really create a financial structure where it can organize and act autonomously, right, without the dollar. So for a conclusion, yeah, just to really drive home my key point, in my humble opinion, political stability in Southeast Asia will be the largest indicator of BRI success. So that is the reason for this, is that the BRI is not only attempting to provide economic stimulation, but also to provide a platform for an alternative world order. So that political success and basically like coercive hegemony is, I think, the real factor in understanding China's goals and whether they're achieving them. And then there you can read some other points that I point out. But here's a picture of the current world order, and just to leave the viewers with the question of how is China going to impact this world order through its economic policies, and what if it was to create a new financial institution? What would that look like? So thank you.